Hi, my name is Kim. Thanks for joining me today for our intermediate yoga practice. So let's go ahead and get started on our mat, facing the front of our mat, and start to feel grounded through our feet, all four corners of our feet. So front and back and side to side, feeling pretty solid, pretty grounded. And then we move on up to the hips, hips over ankles, shoulders over hips, and ears over shoulders. Maybe even that chin comes back a little bit to have those ears over our shoulders. And taking that awareness inside, taking a few nice, deep, cleansing breaths. And from standing, we're going to tip forward from the hip, making our way down to our forward fold. If the hamstrings or back are a little bit tight, give those knees a little bend. The top of the head towards the top of the feet, and the heart melts toward the legs. We can have our hands to our legs, to the ground, or blocks at our elbow clasp. Whatever feels best to you for your best stretch. We're getting a stretch for the whole back side of the body. So a couple of breaths here in our forward fold. And let's plant those hands on our mat and step those feet back to our down dog. In our down dog, taking a bicycle if that feels good, bending one leg in at a time. We could do both legs in at the same time. Just kind of wiggle and find your stretch today. And from our down dog, let's make our way to our knees. And we're going to bring our hips back to our child's pose. Our letting go pose, relaxing pose. So take a nice deep couple of breaths in our letting go child's pose. Making our way forward to our cobra stretch. So opening to the chest, the shoulders, feeling that stretch along the spine and our back. Helping ourselves to all fours. We're going to take some cat-cow backs. If you wanted to come into your cat back first, exhale, round your back towards the ceiling, drop your head and drop your tailbone. And when you're ready on an inhale, cow back, rounding your belly towards the mat, lifting your head, lifting your tailbone. And then you just start to take a few of these at your pace. And let's find that neutral spine and take that right foot back on the ball of the foot to find a calf stretch. You can even get a little stretch in the Achilles, the toes, and the foot. If you can't feel that, you can always lift your weight off of that left knee or the whole leg. And let's change sides. Left foot back. And changing sides, This time let's float that right leg back so that right leg is in line with the hip. We're going to think length through the neck, spine, and tailbone. If that feels okay, we can extend that opposite arm. If that's going pretty good, we can bend that floating leg, reach around and find that ankle, and then we can kick into the hand, which helps open up the left front side of the body, and it helps with balance. And let's unwind to the other side, floating that left leg back so that foot is in line with the hip. If that's going pretty good, we can float the opposite arm. Add on if that feels okay today. And let's unwind. From all fours, we're going to tuck those toes under, lift those hips back to our down dog. And in our down dog, let's take that right leg up, three-legged dog. Step that right foot to the front of our mat to our runner stretch. Getting in that hip flexor. Let's make our way to our high lunge. We're going to open up to our warrior two. Heel to heel alignment. Your eyes are just softly over those front fingertips. Let's come forward, extend that warrior. Your forearm finds that front leg reaching towards the center of the room. Bottom obliques very active along with the top obliques. Let's make our way warrior two. Head on back, reverse that warrior. Backhand finds that back leg. Lifting our heart to the sky or to the side. Warrior two. Straighten that front leg. We're going to keep those hips open and make our way to our triangle pose. So if you like that front hand below that knee or to the ground or a block, either inside that foot or the pinky toe side of the foot. Bring that left hand down to the ground, runner stretch. Let's plant those hands and float that right leg back, three-legged dog. Come to the ball of your left foot, and that right knee is going to come towards the nose, chin to chest, rounding through the spine. On your exhale, we're going to come back to our three-legged dog. Let's do that 2 more times. Chin to chest, knee to nose. Three-legged dog. 1 more time, coming forward, knee to nose. Three-legged dog. Let's open that hip to the right and bend that floating leg. And square those hips to the ground. Set your right leg down. That left leg is going to lift, three-legged dog. Step that foot to the front, runner stretch. And if that foot comes about halfway, just use your hand to help bring that foot to the front. Runner stretch, giving that hip some love. And we're going to continue opening up through the hips, making our way to our high lunge. And our warrior two. Head forward, extend that warrior. Bottom obliques active with those top obliques. Eyes can look up, out, or down. Depends on what is best for your neck. Let's make our way warrior two. And reverse that warrior. Head on back. Make your way warrior two. Straighten your front leg. We're going to come to our triangle pose. Remember to lengthen the side bodies forward, keeping those hips open. So whatever that place is best for your hand. Let's bring that right hand to the ground, runner stretch. Plant those hands, float that left leg back, three-legged dog. 3 times. Let's come to the ball of that right foot, left knee to nose, round through the spine, chin to chest. And exhale, push back, three-legged dog. And left knee to nose. Three-legged dog. One more time, bring that knee towards the nose, round through the spine. Three-legged dog. And let's open that hip to the left, bend that floating leg. Square those hips to the ground and set that left leg down to your down dog. Take that right leg up, three-legged dog. Step forward to the front with that right foot, runner stretch. Softly bring that back knee down to the mat. We're going to have those back toes flat against the mat. Our options, we could be in our runner stretch. Our hands could come up to the leg. If you want to really press down through that front foot and the top of the back foot and hug it through those legs, we can make our way to our high lunge. Making our way back down to our mat. Let's scooch that back knee forward. So our legs are at a 90 degree, so it should feel pretty good. We're gonna take a twist to the right. So we're gonna be thinking not so much resting that elbow on the top of the leg, but how much tricep can come on the outside of that leg. We can use our hands to help find that alignment, or just scooch that tricep as much as possible on the outside of that leg. And once that happens, we find our prayer hands. With our prayer hands and our arm and our leg, we're gonna lift up and out of our lower belly. Really finding a deep twist. If you wanted to come into your high lunge, back toes tuck under and lift that back leg off the ground so we're on the ball of the back foot. Bringing that knee back down, back to center, making our way down to our runner stretch. Let's plant those hands, float that right leg back, three-legged dog. Coming forward plank, we're going to take chaturanga arms and bring that right knee toward that right elbow. So here we could have both knees off the mat. We could have one or both knees on the mat. Let's push back up, three-legged dog. And set your leg down. Take that left leg up, three-legged dog. Step to the front to your runner stretch. Softly bringing that back knee down, back toes flat. So options, we could be in our runner stretch with our hands on the mat, maybe the hands to the leg, really hugging up through those legs, pressing down through that front foot and the top of those back toes. We can make our way to our high lunge. Really important to find your breath during some of these challenging poses. Let's make our way back down to our runner stretch and bring that back knee in so we're at that 90 degree, so it feels comfortable. We're gonna take a prayer hands twist to the left. More tricep on the outside of that leg, twisting from the lower belly. Find where that is. Prayer hands are gonna find each other. And then, so we're not just resting on that front leg, we're gonna lift up and out of our lower belly using our hands and our arm and our leg. And we could come into our high lunge with those back toes tucked under and then just lift that back knee. Softly bring that back knee down. We're going to unwind back to center and to our runner stretch. Plant your hands. Let's float that left leg back, three-legged dog. We're going to come forward, plank, take chaturanga arms and bring that left knee to the left elbow. And three-legged dog. Let's set that leg down. Take a few bicycles through those legs. Maybe a little bit of a sway if you want to bend those knees. Let's take that right leg back up to that three-legged dog. We're going to step that right foot to the front of our mat to our standing splits. Right foot sets down, hands to the ground or a block, or blocks. That floating leg, we're going to flex that leg and the toes. We're going to flex those toes. That big toe slightly turns inward. And with the side bodies lengthened forward, we're going to make our way to our half moon. Left hand, left hip. Start to open up so that top hip is over the bottom hip, top shoulder over the bottom shoulder. We could bend that floating leg towards our bottom and find the ankle as a pretty big quad stretch. And unwinding to our half moon. Let's square those hips to the ground, standing splits. If you would like to make your way to your warrior three, one hand or both hands can lift off the ground to your heart, overhead, out to the side, back by the legs. Back to our standing splits. Give yourself a little bend in that front leg. Runner stretch. Let's plant those hands, step that right leg back, plank, toes or knees. We're gonna exhale down chaturanga and inhale cobra. And our down dog. Take that left leg up, three-legged dog. Step that left foot to the front, standing splits. No rush, take your time. Feeling those side bodies lengthen forward. Back to that floating leg, super flexed. Big toe slightly turns inward. If you would like to go to your half moon, your right hand to right hip. We can start to open up to the right. You could lift that top arm. If you like that quad stretch, our floating foot towards the bottom. And we could reach back and find the ankle. Unwinding from our half moon, down to our standing splits. We're going to make our way to our warrior three. So options would be standing splits. One hand can lift, both hands can lift. Tailbone nice and long, spine and neck. Let's bring those hands back down to the ground. Standing splits, give that front leg that bend, runner stretch. Plant those hands, let's scooch that left leg back, plank. Toes or knees, let's take a chaturanga. And a cobra. And our down dog. From our down dog pose, we're going to bring both those elbows down to the mat at the same time, maybe one at a time. Dolphin pose. Now we're going to start to make this a little bit deeper. Taking the eyes between the wrists area. Maybe we take one baby step in with those feet. We're thinking about lifting those hips It really engages the core. We have a lot of shoulders and back work going on. We can also take one more little baby step. Hips lifted, lifted. Maybe even come to the tippy toes of those feet. Let's walk those feet back out, plank on our forearms. So toes or knees. We're going to keep those shoulders facing the front, but turn those hips to the right. So both those feet could be up, stacked. You could have that bottom knee down. We're working the obliques here. And so those shoulders stay facing front. Definitely remembering to breathe, those nice, deep, cleansing breaths. And back to center, keeping those shoulders facing the front. Those hips are going to turn to the left. Let's take those hips towards our mat. One more time to the right with the hips. Back to center. One more time to the left. And back to center. Let's walk those feet in dolphin pose and make our way up to our down dog by lifting those elbows. And bring those knees down to the mat and our child's pose. Help yourself to your stomach, to your cobra pose. Finding that stretch through the chest and shoulders and back. One more time, let's head on back to our child's pose, but take those knees as wide as that is comfortable. And let's help ourselves up with our hands. And that is our intermediate yoga practice for today. Thanks for playing, and I will see you next time. Namaste.